The Digital War on Police Accountability, a blocked website targeting an Arizona officer, reveals the escalating conflict between public transparency and institutional control. The attempt to access the profile of Mesa police officer Charles G.
Pesterfield on the website copblaster.com was met with a definitive technological barrier, a Chromium browser block.
This single event is a microcosm of a larger systemic struggle where digital platforms dedicated to law enforcement accountability are actively suppressed. The tags associated with the post-police decertification public safety law enforcement point directly to the high-stakes nature of this information, suggesting the site aggregates data potentially relevant to officer conduct and disciplinary proceedings.
The blocking of the site, whether initiated by an institutional IT policy, a security plugin, or another mechanism, transforms a simple search into an act of gatekeeping, controlling the public's access to information about those sworn to protect them. This creates an immediate tension between the stated ideals of public safety and the practical reality of information asymmetry.
Architectures of obscurity. The technical blockade of copblaster.com is not a glitch but a feature of modern information warfare.
The error message "error blocked by client" is a critical data point, indicating the blockage originated from the user's own machine, typically via browser extensions, corporate firewalls, or administrator settings rather than a government-mandated takedown. This method represents a more nuanced, decentralized form of censorship, often justified under the banners of cybersecurity, productivity, or network management.
The site's apparent focus on police decertification, the process of revoking an officer's license to serve, places it at the heart of the most contentious debates in modern law enforcement reform. By framing itself within the discourse of Arizona news and public safety, the site positions its content as journalistic and of public interest, while its opponents likely categorize it as a threat vector or a source of harassment.
This contextual framework reveals a battlefield where control is exercised not through blunt force, but through subtle technical permissions and the classification of information sources.
The data shadow of Officer Pesterfield. The specific targeting of an individual officer demonstrates the personal and professional risks embedded in public accountability platforms. The core of this incident revolves around the digital profile of Charles G.
Pesterfield, a named officer within the Mesa Police Department. The existence of a dedicated page suggests the aggregation of a data shadow, a collection of records that may include employment history, alleged misconduct, internal affairs outcomes, or involvement in public incidents.
For the officer, this represents the perpetual searchable public record that can impact reputation, career progression, and personal safety, irrespective of the veracity of all claims. For the public and activists, such profiles are potential tools for pattern recognition, holding agencies accountable for recidivist behavior and informing the decertification process.
The technological blockade intervenes directly in this relationship, severing the link between the citizen and the data. This deep dive into the mechanics of the block shows it is a preemptive strike against the formation of such analytical insights, protecting the institution from distributed scrutiny by making the foundational data inconvenient or impossible to access for the average user.
Verdict: contained transparency. Escalating conflict. The suppression of accountability sites will fuel greater polarization and more sophisticated methods of information dissemination. The strategic verdict is that the blockage of copblaster.com
is a tactical victory for institutional opacity, but a strategic provocation in the long-term conflict over police transparency. In the immediate term, it successfully contains the narrative around Officer Pesterfield and limits easy public auditability of the Mesa PD.
However, this action inherently validates the perceived power of the information being blocked, likely galvanizing activists and technologists to develop countermeasures such as mirror sites, decentralized web protocols, and encrypted data-sharing networks. The primary risk for law enforcement agencies is that driving this activity further underground will remove any opportunity for context or official response, potentially amplifying misinformation.
The opportunity lies in proactively controlling their own transparency narrative through official, verifiable data portals. The next strategic step is clear. The arms race between data aggregation and data suppression will intensify, moving from simple browser blocks to more complex clashes over data scraping, platform delisting, and legal challenges under the guise of computer fraud or privacy laws.